Now you're good.
Mr. Matt, a great caller, great fan from Philly. What's up? How you doing, man?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Always in the mood to talk Jets, even if I'm angry. Get it all out, vent to you guys. I've called onto the show before. I think last time I called, Tyson was giving me a lot of shit for my hate towards Robbie Anderson, and looks like I could be Mystic Matt over here because I predicted he'd be gone. Mystic Matt. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. So now you knew Joe Douglas was going to be a penny pincher? I mean.
He get what?
Now you knew Joe Douglas was going to be a penny pincher?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So wait, you're happy with Perriman over Robbie?
All right, so funny story. In quarantine, we have to pick up new hobbies, and I actually have a keyboard behind me, and I was able to learn the 30 for 30 soundbite, right? And a week before Robbie got the boot, I made a 30 for 30 like stupid thing and sent it to all my Jet friends on Snapchat saying how Brashard Perriman, a 220-pound former first-round pick, was out there, but we still were interested in a pea shooter, Robbie Anderson, who could run one route.
God help us.
And look what happened. I think Joe Douglas, it might have been sent to his inbox. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys have the clout. Maybe you sent it to him. Who knows?
So now you're right. So now you're going to tell us the Jets got this bargain number one receiver, and Brashard Perriman's going to save our offense, and we're going to move forward with him, right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but I just was never a Robbie fan. I liked how he had a chemistry with Sam, but God, he only ran one route, and all Jeff fans.
But his route tree got better last year. He got better. He was expanding his whole repertoire last year.
Yeah, if it's going out of bounds, though. He's never going over the middle. One hit, and his career's over. I just can't envision a guy with a Pop Warner body taking a hit from who knows who it is over the middle. So that's how I felt.
So how many games has he missed from injuries over his first 3 years? I mean,
this is the argument. This is the argument that I get every day in this. I have a Take Flight group chat every day. Oh, Migden, you want Quincy Enunwa? Look what happened to him. He was always reliable, wasn't he? Like, okay, I couldn't foresee the neck injuries. I get it, but just Robbie Anderson, he's a $140 soaking wet.
All right, so then you got Perriman, the guy that you wanted. Mm-hmm. How do you assess this Jets wide receiver group then?
It's like you guys basketball fans?
Of course.
All right. So it's like the Knicks. The Knicks try to take all the flyers on the former first-round picks. They get Moody, they get Dennis Smith Jr., like all these lottery picks that were has-beens. Now we have Doxson, Perriman. You just hope that one of them pans out. And I watched those last 3 games from Perriman when he was on the Bucs, and I know it's only a small sample size, but God, and it was a Bruce Arians offense, which is not Adam Gase, but damn, that guy could ball. Those last 3 games, he showed me a lot that I just didn't see out of Robbie, running different routes, curl routes, streaks down I think he's more versatile, and I think Sam's going to like that. I don't know if our wide receiver group's going to be great. I was so thrilled that Denzel Mims fell to us. I don't know about you guys. I couldn't believe that we got him. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder because he dropped, but we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic as usual.
But do you think right now, we'll go to the offensive line next, but does Sam right now, with the return of Chris Herndon, have enough weapons around him, or are they kind of doing him a disservice where it's like they should actually put more around him than he has right now?
It's tough when you look at the other quarterbacks that got drafted in Sam's draft class. Like Baker's got Odell and Landry. Josh Allen just got Stephon Diggs in this year's free agency. Kyler Murray just got DeAndre Hopkins. He was a year after Sam, but still a young quarterback. You're like, damn, I just want that premier guy. But I believe in Douglas. I think Herndon could be amazing. We didn't see it. My favorite ability is availability, and I hate it. I hate how he was suspended and then still wasn't ready to come back. It's just a freak thing. It's just that's how the Jets are. But I'm still optimistic that we can get a lot out of Perriman. I think Herndon could be a star, and I think Mims could be up and coming. I think if we hit on a draft pick for once in our lives as a Jeff fan, it's huge.
All right, so
we'll see.
So you like Perriman, and you're a big fan of Mims. So I'm guessing that also being a fan of Douglas, you're not going to give any excuses for Adam Gase not getting this offense to produce something this year, right?
No, no excuses. Okay. No excuses. It's a big year. It's a big year, and I hated how last year everybody was like, Adam Gase, he has no weapons because everybody's hurt. I just keep thinking to myself, and I put myself in the scenario, You're Christopher Johnson, and Mike McCarthy's at the other side of the dinner table, and he says, I only want to coach the Jets as that Super Bowl ring glares in his eye. Yep. And you elect to go with wide-eyed, crazy Adam Gase. Like, guys, what is going on here?
Look at Matt Rule, dude. They could have had Matt Rule, but they wanted to pick his staff for him.
That's another guy.
What coach would say that? So listen, I'm gonna take my dream job, but I can't bring the guys that I think I'm gonna do my best with. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's just. But now going back,
bullshit. It's total bullshit.
But now going back to Gase though, so you're because now you're high on Perriman. You believe in Mims. You think the offensive line is upgraded. They're gonna be better, right?
Big time. Yeah.
So then this offense should be top 15, top 14 then under Gase?
It should be. I think we'll see how the line meshes. I think it's a unit kind of mindset. I love the Mekhi pick. Love it. I'm so glad. So I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was going to say it before, and I'll get derailed. I'll just answer your question now. I think it should be top 15. Yes, I really do. I'm optimistic as a Jet fan, but part of me is like, this guy, Adam Gase, just doesn't have a clue. It didn't work in Miami. Players didn't like playing for him. Last year we heard murmurs that, some people didn't like playing for him. So I'm nervous. That's all I have to say.
So what would you say is the expectation for the team now? We'll go to defense next, but say now, like, is this a 6 or 7 win team? Like, what does Adam Gase have to do to impress you to keep his job?
I want to compete we have a tough schedule. I don't want to get blown out in games. I want to make it close. I felt like last year we either blew them out after like right in the beginning, or we were getting blown out. I want to be in close games. I want to get Sam the ball a chance to win the game. And I want Gase to put him in the right spots. So wins, we got a tough schedule. It looks, you go through the list and you're like, win. Oh, this is a typical Jet loss. It's going to be a tough season. It's going to be tough, but I want to see Sam make a big leap. And if he doesn't, Gase has got to go.
Going to the defense, what kind of impact do you think C.J. Mosley's going to have coming back? If he's healthy, because I know right now he's still, I guess, rehabbing apparently from that hamstring, which is fucking crazy.
Guys, I'm a lot younger than you guys, so you can correct me if you're. I'm a lot younger, but I'm younger. I've never seen a non-quarterback position have such an impact and be so valuable on a team than when I saw week 1 when C.J. Mosley went down. I've never seen a team fall apart. They were gaping holes, Red Sea holes, right down the middle of the field for that rookie Buffalo running back to run through. C.J. Mosley goes down and the whole defense falls apart. You just can't help to think what would happen if he was there with the Greg Williams mastermind behind it all. So you have to stay optimistic. We're paying him a lot of money. Of course, he doesn't miss 3 games in his whole NFL career. He comes to the Jets and plays 3 quarters. It's like, what the fuck? It's just so Jets. It's so Jets.
So either to make things more interesting, now we have you're probably arguably the best player on the team wants a new contract, and according to Gary Miser Daily News, the Jets don't want to give it to him this year. Back on the trade market. What do you think?
I feel like last year when the whole Dallas Cowboys, rumors came, I felt like I was going through a breakup, you want to go, and then you want to stay, and I said this, you said that. I obviously want Jamal to get paid because of his impact. He's a leader. It takes a lot for the Jet fans to say, we got a clear-cut leader on our team. It's been a while. So I think we have to bring him back. I love Marcus May too. I heard, your boy Manish was saying he's going, but you can't really believe him these days. No offense, guys. But yeah, I want them to bring the Prez back for sure.
But can you see, I mean, my personal opinion is that this is very similar to the Revis situation where Revis held out and they played the fucking media story. This is going to happen. Like, Jamal knows the game, dude. Like, this shit coming out today is part of the game from his agent saying, hey, you know what? They're not paying us the money now. Let's stir up the pot. Let's piss off the Jet fans for the holiday weekend. It's going to get ugly, dude. Like, there's going to be all this pissing contest. Does Joe Douglas budge and say, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to trade him. Or do they say, hey, you know what? Let's just pay it and avoid the distraction.
I hope the new Jets and the culture that Douglas wants to build is let's just pay him because he is worth the money. But you never know. It feels like we can't escape that, never-ending darkness of the Jets. And it's also thinking about the past when people have held out and they come back and they just absolutely
what's the
suck.
darkness then is the owners then, because we changed
the owners. Yeah,
Like
it's
that's
the
like
owners.
this is what pisses me off about this fucking culture thing. The culture thing starts with the fucking owners.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me, oh, well, Gase changed this and Joe Douglas changed this. Shit didn't change if the ownership didn't change their mindset. That's the problem. Like this Jamal Adams thing is to me, it's like he's more than one player. He's a dynamic player. He's one of the best players in football, a rising star. If he wants $18 million a year, 70, just fucking pay him. Like, why go through this? And especially if they trade him now, Matt. If they trade him after the draft, that would be the fucking end, dude. Like, I'd just be like, what are we doing here?
They're not going to. They're not going to. Let's speak into existence, guys. They're not going to.
But you know what I mean? Like the whole culture thing, the whole thing starts with ownership. Like at some point, ownership's got to say, listen, let's get this shit done and move on as an organization and not have distractions going in the training camp. He's a guy that you can build your defense around him. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think Christopher Johnson just doesn't have the slightest clue how to run a team. I mean, I think it was like a couple of years ago, there was an article written about how he's the only owner that has separate meetings with the coach and the GM. They're never in the same room, which just like, it's business 101. I mean, the team's got to be on the same page here. I don't know if has since changed. Please tell me it has. I don't know the information, but
the reporting structure is still ass backwards. So how do we know?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. It's like, how are you going to have a meeting with McCagnon, and then in another room, you're going to have a meeting with Bowles? Like, can we have them on the same page? It's so effed up, guys. So
the thing that bothers me the most is that knowing the Jets' history, we listened to Rex Ryan week after week consistently praise Darrelle Revis as the number one corner. And then when it came time to pay him, there was issues doing it. Now Joe Douglas comes in and says, we want to make Jamal Adams a Jet for life. Jamal's like, okay, make me a Jet for life. Pay me like you want to make me a Jet for life. Where's the fucking contract? So, it's this media game that I actually think the owners would probably want to keep Jamal Adams because they recognize that, the fans like him, where Joe Douglas, he's coming in and saying, you know what, I want to do things my way. I'm not just going to be somebody that people walk all over and I give out money left and right. So, I don't know.
But who in the NFL would, if you give a new contract, who in the NFL is going to question it? You're paying
nobody.
Like this is a
look at the demand for him. Half the teams are going to be interested.
This isn't Joe Douglas making a statement. I'm not going to pay him and be a hard ass. First of all, you said you wanted to. He's earned it. He's a building block for the future. Like, it just makes sense. Like, I'm so tired of this. He's just a safety. He's more than a safety, man. He's a hybrid linebacker. He's at the line of scrimmage. You could do so much with him.
So then what's the holdup?
I think it's Christopher Johnson's ego, and I like a lot of owners have this ego where they're just power hungry and they want to say, oh, this 24-year-old kid's not going to get $20 million out of me. I'm Christopher Johnson, but he doesn't know anything about football. He doesn't know the fact that Kevin just said that the whole team wants this guy. The whole league wants this guy. So Chris Johnson, you know what I mean, and the whole team, exactly. So like, let's
see,
just.
The other thing too is that the NFL's changed where now the people's view of contracts has significantly changed. Where if a player doesn't meet his contract, they're cutting him. Like, fuck it, you're cut. So now the player's like, I want my money. Like the old days where it's like, oh, you got to honor your contract. Those days are gone. Teams having leverage, nobody cares anymore because we'll hold out and cause a media just shitstorm, which he's going to do. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, man. I don't know.
I want him back. I want the leadership back. I know Greg Williams would love to have him back. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Hopefully Chris Johnson can just take a step back and let Douglas run the team. I can't fathom the thought that Douglas is not paying him because he doesn't want to pay him. I think it's Chris Johnson in his ear.
And not just all that, but like when we've gone so long without being able to draft well, when you finally get a gem like Jamal Adams to just say, all right, now when it's time to actually pay him, we're just going to move on. That just sends such a wrong message to the fans, the locker room, everybody. I hate it.
Especially when you preach, play a certain way, be a certain way, do this, be a leader.
Reward the guys that do it right. Yeah.
There it is. I mean, I don't know. So you're looking at, we talked about this team a little bit, going back a little bit, man. Who are some of your favorite memories with this team? Players, games?
So to explain my fandom, it's pretty interesting. My dad's a season ticket holder, 22 years. We're in section 325. A lot of characters up there, a lot of yelling, a lot of fights, but
you got one character right there.
Yeah. Kevin, he's in 325. I've seen him throw a couple punches, swings and a miss, especially when Miami comes to town. But anyway, yeah, I was a huge fan growing up, and then I went to college in Philadelphia, St. Joe's University, and there wasn't that many Jet fans. It's all Eagle country up here, and I would have to go to the student center to get the NFL ticket. And I remember it so clearly. Kyle Orton, my freshman year, put up like 45 points against the Jets. He threw like 4 touchdowns and only passed the ball 10 times or some shit like that. And I remember being so frustrated where I hit a breaking point as a fan, and I picked up the phone and I called the Jets post-fifth quarter show. It was my first time calling. And ever since then, I've called after every game, like Ira from Staten Island, after every game to Greg Buttle and Don LaGreca, or Greg Buttle and Dan Grassa. And they actually called me Angry Matt from Philly when LaGreca was on the show. They hated me because I was one of those guys that Ira, no offense to him, he's a good caller, but he gives them what they want to hear.
Yep.
Where me, it's like what's on Let's Talk Jets every week. It's like the clear-cut truth, what's fucked up about this team, and I'm going to say it in the harshest way possible and try to hear Buttle and LaGreca dance circles around my statements because they're getting paid by the team and they had to shine a good light on it. So
that's what Ira too, man. Ira is the same way. Ira gets all those perks. He goes to every game as a VIP at practice, the VIP there. He's not going to burn certain bridges. He's not going to say certain shit.
Right. And you know what? Last year he kind of started getting a little edgy, Ira. So I started to respect him more. I respect him as a caller, but he got a little edgy last year because there were some low points. But yeah, I actually have been calling in and they hate me. It's pretty funny, but they still take my calls because I guess it's entertaining. I'm usually like the second or third caller, and it almost is like a let out for me. It's like therapy as a Jet fan where I can call after every terrible loss or after great win and just let out with what my feelings are with this team. So
that's why we do the show.
Yeah, and that's why you guys do the show. It's just.
So what's your favorite moment as a Jet fan? Like, what's your highlight of your fanhood so far?
Probably just calling in after every week. But if I had to specifically get it to a moment, I think when Decker scored that touchdown against New England.
Yeah.
And I remember me and my dad just jumping up. And I remember they were honoring season ticket holders that game, and we were able to go on the field after the game. So that whole day was amazing. And then my other favorite thing about this team that happened later in my fandom is I met Jetman. I know you guys are Fireman Ed guys, but Jetman's also doing the chant on the Jumbotron, and this guy throws a crazy-ass tailgate.
We've been there. Yeah.
You've been to the tailgates?
Yeah, man.
You've probably seen me throw beers over my head and shit.
Dude, we tailgate right down we're in L7, man. We're right down the hall from you. We're down the road from you, right there. We go by Jetman's thing all the time. Ed's to the left of him.
Is he really?
Yep.
I'm telling you, this year, I think the virus will be gone by then, but we better meet up for some drinks and some shots at the Jetman tailgate for sure.
I'm down for sure.
It's 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, you hear a fire horn and it's a shot, and he does a speech. And
I'm just curious, did you go to games back in Giant Stadium at all, or no?
Yeah. I was younger, but yeah, I was there. My dad had like a different type of tailgate, like 12 guys, and I would kick it along with him. But ever since MetLife's been there, it's been a little bit more rowdy for the tailgate.
Because I respect the hell out of Jetman and Scotty, like, for trying to get the same atmosphere going, but like being a season ticket holder going back, when I was 5 years old, 1993, Fireman Ed being 2 sections over for him, because that's when, I was sitting in the lower section. I couldn't afford to pay that at MetLife. Mm-hmm. Being a part of those crowds, that's what made me addicted as a fan. And so that's why I still have that like allegiance to him, and why I hope that one day we can get that environment back, because there was just nothing like it back in the day.
Yeah, I grew up watching them. I grew up chanting with them. I mean, no disrespect to the guy. I know you guys are a friend of his. I'm not questioning his character at all here, but he did leave after that butt fumble game, and I was in the crowd with my family Thanksgiving night, and it was a terrible. My father went crazy on this Mrs. Fields cookie vendor. It was a memory that I'll never forget. And then Jetman jumped in, and then I actually met him as part of an internship I did randomly. So that's why he's my guy. But I did talk to Jetman not too long ago, and he did say that the crowd is rowdier when Ed's on the screen with him, or when Ed's by himself. So that's probably because of like you just said, Kevin. He's been there the longest, and fans grew up with him. So
yeah. Well, the other thing too is that Giant Stadium, it was all diehard fans, man. It was people that had tickets for years. And they weren't priced out. It was you're amongst family. You sat with people in the same row, the same seat every week, week in and week out, same fucking people. You go to MetLife, it's PSLs. Everybody's all over the place. There's either
Dolphin
a clown.
fans.
Yeah, there's you have a random fan sitting next to you. Like it's the whole environment changed, man. It's not the same old camaraderie. You know, that changed everything. It's, you know.
Yeah, the PSLs drove people away. I remember my dad talk. I think we just escaped the PSLs, so we were able to sit in the same section. But I don't really know the details of it, but we were able to keep our seats, thank God, because I don't want to trade anything for going to those games, even if we stink. Just now I have the tailgate to rely on. It's all about the tailgate some years, but hopefully it'll be about the game soon.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, you get me.
What else haven't we covered yet? Yeah, actually, did you go out to Hofstra at all? I know, a lot of people get out to Florham Park, and I feel like there's kind of like a same difference, where, we like the old school atmosphere that Hofstra used to bring if you were actually fortunate enough to go there, where it was more, fan friendly and stuff like that.
No, I never got the opportunity to go. My dad did as a season ticket holder. He went and he got pictures with all the players, and I'm a little jealous about it. So maybe one day I'll be able to get out to Florham Park and see some training camp. But no, I never got to see that atmosphere, unfortunately.
It's beautiful. Florham Park is beautiful, man. The complex is beautiful. It's definitely cool. So now there's rumors that you have a podcast here. So what's all this?
Yeah.
I know you're gonna start plugging it sooner or later. So
we need the collab here, guys. All right, so I help run a podcast called Fourth and Long Podcast. I had it since I was a sophomore in college with two others, one Eagle fan and one Steeler fan. But we do all sports. If it was my way, I'd do what you guys do, just do Jet football all day long. But I also am a huge NBA and college basketball guy, so I'm able to talk that too. We should do a collab soon. Somehow figure it out. We can plug your show. Maybe you can throw a quick plug at mine. I don't know. We'll see.
Eagles and Jets and Steelers. That makes some good arguments, man. Eagles fans are crazy too. Shit.
Oh, dude, they're crazy. And I don't say that I root for them to lose, but it's sometimes nice to see them, crash and burn because those fans, the media there is crazier than New York, believe it or not. You go and you listen. That team won in Super Bowl 2 years ago. You turn on Philadelphia Sports Talk Show, and after one loss, they'll be calling for Wentz. They'll be calling for Peterson. They'll be calling for the Howie Roseman. It's like, God, let's take a step back. They're just some crazy fans out here, guys.
If the Jets ever win a Super Bowl, whoever the head coach is, GM is, they have at least 5 years. I'm not saying a goddamn word.
I'll be drunk for a year. The next year I wouldn't even see a game.
That's what I say, Tyson. Tyson, I literally say that if we won the Super Bowl, I'd probably not watch the next year as intently as I wouldn't.
I'd be in the parking lot drinking, hanging out. The game, I wouldn't even care. I'd be so happy.
We're world champions.
That's it. Who cares? Like the game, it's like a wash year. I wouldn't care for nothing. Nothing.
I'm glad you said that because I've said that, and my friends are like, "What's wrong with you, Migden?" And I'm like, I don't know. You win.
But here's the question for you though. If you had the chance to go to the Jets championship game where they wanted to go in it, or the Super Bowl, which game would you go to?
Are we home for when we go?
It's a road game.
Ooh. I think I would want to go when they won it. The Super Bowl.
What about you, Kevin?
I think I'd be too nervous for the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Oh, dude, if we ever got to the Super Bowl, I'd be a disaster. Yeah. I'd be a disaster. I'd be on the floor the whole game.
I'd probably I'd go to the championship game because I want to see him clinch it. That's more fan friendly. That's more like really. I want to see him celebrate, do that. Yeah. I'd go to the Super Bowl town, but I wouldn't go to the game. I'd go to a bar. I can do like commercial shit, dude. I got to be like in a bar by TV. I want to hear the announcers. I want to hear all the injury reports. I want to hear all the shit. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, Tyson. If we ended up winning on the road to go to the Super Bowl, I think a lot of fans would be salty. It would probably be in Foxborough or Pittsburgh. It could get ugly for us if we're in green.
Dude, I went to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. I went to both of them. I didn't care. Like,
really? You were good?
Yeah, man.
Unscathed?
Well, they lost. we were harmless.
That's what I'm saying. You're right. You're right.
We're just drunk and obnoxious.
You're probably getting crushed. Yeah. Damn. You guys going to any away games this year? You have any on the schedule?
Oh, we'll see what the world looks like. Yeah, I'd love to make a couple road trips. I didn't get to do any last year. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice.
A couple West Coast games. I saw those. It'd be cool. I've never been there.
Yeah, Seattle, KC, something like that. One of those.
I'd love to go to Kansas City, man. That's the best fan base in football. Just for the tailgate and the environment. If it was like a real 75,000 fans, I would love to go there.
Yep.
Yeah, I went to the only road games I've gone to for the Jets is I went to Dallas a couple of years ago when Revis had that interception against Kellen Moore and we won. It was a Saturday night game.
Yeah, we
And I
were
also-
there for that too.
We were there.
You were there? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We made a whole family vacation out of it. We went. It was awesome. That was sweet.
Did you stay during the post game when Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker were doing like the
Oh,
I
Daniel
forget-
Tomlinson.
yeah when they were doing the interviews, because there was
I
about
could
200
see
fans
it.
that were all like right by the bench that were going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it from across, but we ended up leaving. I ended up calling the fifth quarter show, and I was getting heckled by Dallas fans. But funny story about that game. I'll be quick. We actually went to the lower level in the end zone to take a picture, like first row, and like 4 rows back in the end zone, we found a row of 5 or 4, and we sat down, and nobody claimed the seats the entire game. It was it was the luckiest thing ever. I actually had like a Jets-made cowboy hat. My mom made us cowboy jet hats, and I was getting called Woody from Toy Story because I kept running my mouth. Yeah, it kind of. I mean, Cowboy fans, you guys were there. They're not like too hostile, but
But look at that stadium, and then look at MetLife. It's like the penthouse to the outhouse.
and the same amount of money, right?
Yep.
What happened there? Is there more seats in MetLife? Am I missing something?
It's about the same, right?
There's more politics in MetLife.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Now they got that whole
Even look
mall.
at the Atlanta Stadium. That was like half the cost of MetLife. Thing's fucking beautiful.
Where's the new stadium that just went up is on the West Coast. That's what I was looking at. I think it's the Chargers and the Rams are going to split it. Have you guys seen that? It looks
Look at the one in Vegas looks nice too with the Raiders. That place is gonna be beautiful. That's a good time.
We play. Are we on the road that game or are we home? I don't even know.
I think we're at Oakland this year. I think.
But are they?
I thought we had 2 games on the West Coast. I know Seattle and I forget who the other.
That was a
Rams.
sweet win last
Rams.
year. That was a sweet win to beat Gruden. We took it to them last year. Hopefully we can do that again.
What's the schedule? I think they're here. I don't think it's a road game.
Oh, is it?
Say Raiders home.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because they couldn't put Jet fans in Vegas for a game, dude. There's no way. We'd all die. Imagine that road trip, like a 3 or 4 day trip in Vegas, going to see the Jets play. We'd never come back. None of us.
Yeah. We would all gamble our freaking souls away.
Yeah,
We'd
they'd
be
be
at the casino. I wouldn't
Bet
bet
on the
on
Raiders.
the Jets though. I don't bet the Jets. I don't know if you guys sports gamble at all. but
Never. Not
I
the
just-
Jets.
Yeah, I can't do it. I always fall in that trap like at least once a year, and I'm like, you know what? We're so much better of a team than the Dolphins. I'm gonna put money on this, and they just always beat us when I put money on them. So frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're playing the bad Bengals. We're never going to lose this game. They're the Bengals. The Bengals suck. Never going to happen.
Yeah, that was a brutal game. Let me ask you guys something. Back to like schemes and stuff. I'll pick your brain. Am I noticing that every time we've won last year, like we score on the opening drive and we look like a completely different team than the rest of the drives? Is that because Gase scripts the plays and we practice that and we just don't practice anything else? Like what is this?
Well, I think it's a combination of that and then just not having any adjustments once
Nope.
the opposing defense does something different.
Yeah.
You could see it, dude. It's like 15 plays. You could see it. The minute that play is done, you can see like now you start panicking. Oh, let's do a screenplay. Just panic. 3 and out. It's insane. And then coming out of half, same thing. Coming out of half, the first 8 or 9 plays make sense, and then it's like, psh.
Yeah, it's frustrating. He doesn't make adjustments, and you'll have some media saying, "Oh, well, he doesn't have the personnel," and I hate that he has that fallback. And I'm just hoping we can stay healthy. So,
But doesn't he have it? Because he has a fullback this year, man. You have 4 new offensive linemen, 2 new receivers.
But those 4 new offensive linemen, I mean, are like miles ahead than what we had last year. I mean, it looked like last year that we had flag football blockers. You guys ever play flag football when you have to put your hands behind your back and you're just throwing your shoulders? That's what Beecham looked like. It's just so frustrating to watch them. I'm hoping that Mackay looks like a truck. I'm hoping Sam can throw over top of him. I mean, the guy's like, what, 6'6"?
Now,
The only thing that I worry about, I guess, is how they're going to actually get these guys reps. I mean, with everything that's going on with training camp, are they actually going to play them in the preseason? Because I know Gase didn't do that last year. Is he going to learn from that?
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. The preseason O-line last year looked great, and then we got to the regular season, we start plugging in like Khalil and some other starters, and they sucked. And then I think it was one game. It might have been the Raiders when we like went back to that preseason combo, and we won.
Yeah.
I think it was Harrison at center, but those guys are all backups now, which is great.
Is there anybody you want to sign? Are you interested in getting like Logan Ryan or Jadeveon Clowney or Everson Griffin or anybody?
I want the I don't know if he's still unsigned, but I would love that the guy Larry Warford
Yeah.
from the Saints. I'm one of those guys that thinks if a lineman gets cut, there's something wrong, because I think great teams hold on to linemen forever,
especially a Pro Bowl one.
But then I looked into the Saints situation, and I could be wrong, but I saw that they paid another guy before him, and they just don't have enough money. And this guy just made the Pro Bowl this year. So I don't see anything glaringly wrong. They just drafted another guy in the first round, the Saints. So I guess somebody had to be out, and it just so happened to be a Pro Bowler. I mean, I would love to show him the money and bring him. I think that would solidify our line, especially a Pro Bowler.
It seems a lot of people say that he's more of like a mauler and not really a fit for, I guess, Gase's scheme with the zone blocking and everything. But at the same time, you have a back like Le'Veon Bell, who's, great up the middle, who can take it outside. Get a guy that can maul in the run game and start to utilize what you have a little bit more.
I get sick to my stomach, like, when someone says the Gase scheme. Like, what weight does that hold? You know what I mean? It doesn't hold any weight, so let's just bring him in. He'll be gone,
And you have so many one-year deals as it is right now. Brian Winters basically falls into that category. So if you could get a guy in here long-term for 2 to 3 years, I think it makes plenty of sense.
Hell yeah. Who knows? Maybe Douglas is making all these one-year deals because he knows there's another coach on the way.
A lot of people think that, man. Yep. A lot of people say, you know what, if this, instead of getting all these scheme guys and Gase is gone next year, it's like, you know what, then we can just adapt to the new coach. Yep. A lot of people think that, man.
Were you guys it wasn't, I don't know if you were at the podcast where you had those signs that said fire Gase. It wasn't Let's Talk Jets, was it? It might have been.
Kev, go ahead, man. You can answer this question. I'm just going to eat my cookie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. What are you sorry for, dude? We're uncensored here, man. Kev, go ahead.
Well, it wasn't a podcast. It was the
NYSF, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I do all the writing and editing for that magazine. So, yeah, I can give you plenty of stories, just going back, me and Jay. The one thing I always said to him, I disagreed with the approach. I thought it was just a bad look. But I was never going to tell anybody that was a PSL holder that's invested their money into this team for as long as he has, and a lot of the people that donated to that cause, I was never going to tell them how to spend their money or how to be a fan, how to root, or, what kind of message to send. When you give your money like that over 2 decades and get nothing back in return, I feel like you have every right to kind of, voice your opinion in whatever way you want to. So as much as I disagreed with it, I understood where the frustration was and where it came from.
What a political answer that was.
That was well said. No, I get that. I get that for sure. I mean, so many fans have been so invested for so long. Some are just going to break. And
but last year is very hard. Last year broke me because I can't watch bad football, and I hate excuses. And the most fundamental thing of just offensive line blocking, they couldn't even do that. Like the blown assignments, it's like, all right, you didn't fire the line coach. I have no idea why. You didn't make any in-game adjustments, and you're getting your young quarterback killed, and nothing happened. Like, nobody held nobody accountable. You play Luke Falk. Nobody fucking cared about that. Like, nobody cared. Like, it's hard to not explode when you watch just ridiculous football. That whole Sam seeing ghosts. Like, dude, if you're spending all that money, like, and you just see, like, this is our young prize quarterback, and we're fucking destroying it. Mm. And then they win those games towards the end, which everybody's like, oh, now we're back on track, and now we're 7-9, and we're great. But, yeah, I mean,
we went into this year with, like, we were so high on this team, and we just dropped so low. As soon as Mosley went down, it was over. It was
as soon as Mono went down.
And it was Mosley, Mono. It was Mosley, Mono, and I think Le'Veon was had knee issues or something right away after the first game. And everybody's like, all right, back down to earth. Our hearts have been crushed. It's like, what are we going to do? And then you said the offensive line thing. I can't fault Gase completely over that because of our general management. It's like the only team in the league that doesn't draft offensive line.
Dude, you can't fault Gase. You could have benched Ryan Khalil. The fucking guy couldn't play.
True. I fault him a little. I don't fault him completely.
Dude, fuck that. You look at these guys. They couldn't block, dude.
Who are we going to bring in?
How about you change your fucking scheme? How about you put a guy in the backfield? How about you roll Sam out of the pocket? How about you avoid your quarterback from getting hit?
2 points.
I drink beer and watch football. I know this shit. Get it, Kevin.
2 points. The scripted plays, same offensive line, right?
Yeah.
All right. And the year before, Jeremy Bates. Plenty of games where Sam played out of his mind. with mostly that same offensive line, if not worse. So
you're saying it worked, but I don't know. I mean, I think those are outliers, if you ask me. I think you need Jeremy Bates. Come on, guys. That guy was doing freaking acid on the mountain before we got him. You know what I mean? He was like a freaking hiker, and then we're like, oh, you got to come in. Chan Gailey was falling asleep in the booth. Yeah,
but Matt, did you see how many times the fucking linemen didn't know what the call was, and they're pointing at each other, and the guy's going past them? Like, they didn't even know what guy to even block. That's not talent. That's called coaching. Right? Like, dude, they didn't know what fucking guy to pick up in a blitz pickup. They had no idea.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also think that when you don't draft offensive line for 10 years in the first 2 rounds, that's what's going to happen in years 10 and 11. Where
Can you explain Gase's use of Bell, not using him as a receiver? Or I have a better question. Can you explain Gase not using Ty Montgomery and Bilal Powell?
I'm a big Bilal Powell fan, guys. Longest 10 years at Jet. And Montgomery was invisible. Only in the preseason was he relevant. Yeah, I can't explain it. And I'm not saying I'm a Gase supporter. Believe me, I've said it on this little interview right now that I am not a Gase guy right now after what we saw last year. Yeah, he couldn't use Le'Veon for shit. I mean, the guy was the best receiver on the team. We don't put him out wide. It was frustrating.
Even Montgomery's a receiver. You could have used him. They didn't use him either, which is ridiculous.
And it is scheme. I agree. It's partly scheme, but I think it could be easier, a lot easier, if we had the line that we're going to have this year compared to.
We'll see.
Well, let's hope.
No excuses, dude. He's got no fucking excuses at all this year.
None. He has none. Sam should not be throwing off his back foot like he did every single pass throw last year. You think about that Patriots game when he saw Ghost, the guy was literally falling back like a fadeaway jump shot in the corner, throwing the ball, and he still made splendid throws. I'm just hoping that he can get some protection this year because you get killed. I'm glad they didn't send him out there with that enlarged spleen. We could have seen a man die on the field when you have Calvin Beachum as your blindside blocker there.
Kev, anything else, man? You good?
No, I think that's it.
You got anything for us, Matt?
I really enjoyed it.
Here comes the plug. He's going to plug something.
I was going to plug. Make sure you listen to Fourth and Long Pod on Instagram. We're growing rapidly. Make sure you check out we actually made a song. It's a remake of Levon, but we say Le'Veon instead, and we make some new lyrics.
They make songs? What are we doing, man?
We made one song. It was me and my father, actually. We were bored this last summer. We made a Le'Veon Bell song because we were so pumped. We actually got a premier player in free agency. So I can actually send it to you guys. But thanks for having me.
Check it out.
It's been a great Thursday night. And
well, give out how do people follow you? Give out your Twitter handle.
All right. My personal.
We could do all this for you. What is this, man?
Come on, Tyson. Shit. Tyson's a Robbie Henderson fan. I don't get it. I'm just messing. All right. So at Maddie Miggs on Twitter. And then for Fourth and Long, it is at Fourth and Long Pod on Instagram. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Awesome, Matt. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Great. You guys are 2 goats. I appreciate it.
Later, dude.
Have a good one. Guys.